When the apocalypse struck, my sister and I discovered our latent abilities. My sister opted for the impressive and powerful lightning ability. However, unable to handle hardship, she squandered her potential and barely scraped by at the base. I, on the other hand, used my seemingly insignificant healing power to gather vast supplies and attract the favor of all the base leaders. Out of goodwill, I rescued my sister, but driven by jealousy, she led me into a horde of zombies. With a second chance in life, she quickly chose the healing ability this time. Now, it's my turn to enjoy everything while you struggle, sister. I glanced at the brilliant lightning power in my hand and smiled. It was the power I had longed for in my previous life. I awoke from darkness and heat. My sister's eyes sparkled as she said with a smile, "Sister, now it's my turn to relax and enjoy." Seeing the faint green glow in her hand, I snapped out of my confusion and looked at the weak lightning flickering in my own hand. Both my sister and I had been reborn. In our previous life, my sister claimed she needed a strong ability to protect her frail self. I relented and let her choose the lightning power first. Who could have guessed she would avoid fighting zombies, unable to endure hardships, wasting her mighty ability, and ending up doing simple tasks at the base, barely surviving. I chose what seemed like a useless healing ability, but was treated like a VIP by all the base leaders. Once, I saved her from the brink of death by a zombie. At that time, she could only look up at me as others protected me. Blinded by jealousy, she led me into a zombie pack, intending to die with me. In this life, my sister quickly claimed the healing ability. Before I could react, chaos erupted around us. At the onset of the apocalypse, my sister and I were fortunate to find refuge in a large supermarket, where we successfully awakened our abilities. The supplies were plentiful, but unrest was brewing among the people. From now on, everyone must go out and kill zombies, or be permanently expelled from the supermarket. A young man with fair skin and a gentle demeanor, yet commanding authority, announced. His name was Nolan, charismatic and capable, and he quickly took control of the supermarket with strict rules. "Why should we? This isn't your home. You have no right to kick us out." Nolan smiled, his eyes curving. Because of this, he raised his hand, and with a bang, everyone was stunned into silence. Under the pressure of absolute power, everyone slowly walked outside the supermarket. My sister approached Nolan softly, whispering, "I have evolved a healing ability. I can support you." Nolan raised an eyebrow, his eyes gleaming. "All right, you can join us." He finished speaking but turned his gaze to me, silent at the side. Seeing this, my sister pointed with her pale hand. "That's my sister. She's great at killing zombies. You should put her at the front." She looked at me, her eyes filled with malice. I simply smiled brightly. What my sister didn't know was that in my previous life, I envied her greatly. I dreamed of having the lightning ability, instead of relying on the healing power, becoming caged by others. Perhaps my smile angered my sister. I was placed at the forefront to kill zombies. In the past life, when my sister chose the lightning ability, she was confident. She wasted her talent because the ability required upgrades. Initially, the lightning power could only produce a weak electric spark, barely enough to delay a zombie for a second. She thought she could conquer everything with her power, but she ended up making a mess on her first zombie kill, causing chaos, and lost many of Nolan's men, earning his grudge. Numerous zombies started moving toward us, like beasts drawn by the scent. My hand holding the knife trembled slightly. In the previous life, I was heavily protected, and hadn't faced zombies head-on in a long time. I focused intently on the nearest zombie, holding my breath. I precisely activated my ability, and the weak electric shock gave the zombie a momentary pause. Seizing that second, I fiercely plunged the knife into the zombie's brain. Blood spurted out, and I quickly jerked the handle back. Again and again, I managed to deal with it before another zombie approached. I quickly used the electric shock again, repeating the process on the next zombie. Finally, my hand was so rigid it couldn't lift anymore, my whole body covered in blood, my ability exhausted, lying numbly on the ground. "You did well." Nolan's clear voice rang out, smiling. "You, a woman, killed 10 zombies alone." I opened my tired eyes, seeing my sister's face twisted with jealousy. She forced a smile, pretending to care. "Sister, you're amazing, but with all that blood, you weren't bitten, were you?" A cold light flashed in my eyes. Nolan's smile paused. He glanced at my sister, then quickly smiled. "You're right, we should thoroughly check to prevent internal strife." I lay on the ground, indifferent. As long as Nolan knew I had value, he wouldn't easily discard me, but if he labeled me as useless, I'd have to fend for myself. Thinking of this, I looked at my sister playfully. "Aren't you supposed to treat the wounded? How do you have time to chat here?" My sister's eyes flashed with anger, but with Nolan nearby, she obediently went to care for the injured. As she walked away, my gaze grew colder. In the previous life, after my sister awakened her ability, she immediately abandoned me. So she didn't know. Although the lightning ability needed upgrading, it could truly become a great weapon against zombies later. But the healing ability had a fatal flaw. "What happened? It hurts so much. Hurry up and heal me." My sister stood among the bloody injured, her face as pale as a sheet. She mumbled, "What's happening? Why isn't it working?" "I don't know. I don't know." The family of the injured scolded her, pushing her constantly. Finally, one furious family member slapped her directly. "Damn you." Suddenly my sister's emotions erupted. She screamed and looked at me in the crowd. She was hysterical, shouting like a madwoman. "It's you. It's your doing, isn't it?" She pushed through the people surrounding her. "What's going on? Isn't my ability supposed to heal?" My sister gripped my shoulders, shaking me wildly. "My dear sister, this was your choice." Her eyes were full of confusion and misunderstanding, not understanding why the candy she grabbed tasted bitter. Since she was frail as a child, our family always told me to let her have her way. So, no matter the situation, she naturally took the good things. Nolan also approached to check what was happening, still smiling gently. What happened? My sister flinched slightly, quickly adjusting her expression. She tucked her hair behind her ear, her eyes red, looking pitiful. Maybe it's because the ability is newly awakened. I haven't mastered it yet. I can't heal them. Nolan frowned, puzzled. Is that so? Then there's nothing we can do. He sympathetically patted my sister's shoulder, speaking earnestly. The injured can't control their emotions, and their families are anxious and emotional. If this happens again, I might not be able to protect you. Though Nolan spoke with a smile, it sent a chill down the spine. I took a deep breath, recalling his cold indifference in the past life, slicing me piece by piece. My sister showed a look of fear. After Nolan left, I approached my sister, whispering in her ear like a devil. You'll never be able to heal others. This useless ability can only heal yourself. I watched my sister with interest, my tone harsh. Not only that, it'll become a target for everyone, and if they can't take it, it will just be destroyed. Her face was full of disbelief. The light in her eyes shattered. Impossible. Impossible. My sister pushed me away like a madwoman, muttering, "You're lying. You're afraid I'll be adored by all the strong like you were in the past life. You're afraid I'll reach the top and seek revenge." Her eyes were full of madness and desire. If it can only heal myself, how could you have been so sought after in the past life? She pointed at me with her bright red nails. Sister, do you think I'm as stupid as I was in the past life? This time, you're destined to be trampled underfoot. Her face lost its craziness, showing a determined smile. She turned and left decisively, though her steps were less confident. She might be half believing, but it doesn't matter. No matter how stubborn she is, the truth is the truth. In the past life, after many attempts, discovering I could only heal myself was a thunderbolt. Those who were once kind to me suddenly changed faces. Nolan directly pointed a dark barrel at me, still smiling gently. How will you compensate for our losses? It seems you can only pay with your body. His cold gaze and tone are unforgettable to this day. No one came to save me then, and I endured it all alone. This time, it's my sister's choice. She might have her doubts, but it doesn't matter. Facts remain unchanged, no matter how stubborn she is. In my previous life, after many attempts, I was shocked to discover that I could only heal myself. Those who were once kind to me suddenly turned hostile. Nolan pointed a gun at me, smiling gently. How will you compensate us for our losses? It seems you have no choice but to repay us physically. I still can't forget that cold gaze and tone. No one came to save me then. I endured it on my own. In this life, my sister made her choice. She only saw my glamorous status, and ignored the hidden scars behind the power. To wear the crown, you must bear its weight. I won't walk that path again in this life. With clear eyes and firm steps, I continued to lead in killing zombies for the next few days. After each bloody battle, I could feel my powers growing stronger, but my sister's gaze towards me grew more twisted and dark. Returning to the supermarket after a zombie fight, I was met with suspicion and disgust from everyone. My sister's triumphant expression was among them. Nolan with an apologetic tone said, "Someone reported seeing you bitten by a zombie. You have two choices, leave the supermarket or strip for inspection." Suddenly it felt like that gun was aimed at me again. Someone jeered, "Let's all check, or I'll be scared." The disgusting jokes were met with agreement. Don't expel her. She might seek revenge. Just hold her down and strip her for inspection. I lowered my eyes. This is human nature in the apocalypse, easily swayed by provocation. My sister, with tears in her eyes and a sobbing tone said, "It's for everyone's safety, sis. It's the apocalypse. Don't risk everyone's lives over a worthless sense of shame." The atmosphere reached a peak. Everyone was shouting madly, as if I were prey they had to capture. I quietly took a few steps back, only to find myself surrounded. I frowned deeply. This wasn't good. My mind raced, thinking of ways to escape, quickly heading towards the gasoline stash, threatening them with my remaining powers, or using lightning to break through and create an escape route. No matter what, I won't compromise in this life. Resolute, I lifted my bright eyes. Then I heard a bang, followed by the thud of a falling body. Murder.